Movie buffs, welcome back to the Movie Bay. This is Day. In today's video, we're going to take a look at one of my favorite genres. We're going to take a look at the top 5 grossing horror franchises of all times. Now, again, this is just top grossing. These aren't the best horror franchises, in my opinion. These are really good horror franchises, but I don't think they're the best. I think they're really, really good. Some of them might be in that best conversation, but let's go ahead and get this party started with one of my favorite horror franchises. It's actually more of it's a franchise, but it also takes the interconnected universe route, like the MCU, like so many other different franchises where it's an interconnected universe. So we're going to talk about the Conjuring franchise, the Conjuring universe. And this universe has 10 films in it, okay? So let's take a look at some of the films in one of my favorite horror franchises. Most definitely. So we're going to take a look at The Conjuring. This is a fantastic horror film, hands down. The Conjuring 2 is actually my favorite movie in the entire Conjuring universe, but it's my favorite Conjuring movie. There's 4 Conjuring movies. We'll get to into the entire franchise in a moment, but The Conjuring 2 is my favorite movie in the franchise, and particularly out of the 4 Conjuring movies, this is definitely my favorite one. The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. To me, this was weak sauce. I didn't care too much for this one at all. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't bad, but it's the weakest one out of the 4 Conjuring films, in my opinion. Then we have the latest one that I just picked up, and I actually just saw it, and I liked it. This is holding down the number 3 spot as far as the 4 Conjuring movies go. And we have The Conjuring 4, Last Rites. This is a really good horror movie. It's a good Conjuring movie, and I like the way it wrapped up the Warrens' story. It ended their story pretty nicely. Now we're going to move on to the Annabelle movies, the 3 Annabelle movies. We have the first Annabelle movie, which was fantastic. I liked all the Annabelle movies, 2 being my favorite. See, 2 with The Conjuring, that's my favorite, and 2 with the Annabelle. So we have Annabelle Creation. This is my second favorite movie in the entire franchise, or entire connected universe. And this is my favorite Annabelle movie. So we got the Annabelle Creations. This is a really, really crazy, scary, creepy movie. Second best in the entire universe, in my opinion. Then we have the third Annabelle movie, Annabelle Comes Home. This wasn't bad. Not bad at all. Again, the 3 Annabelle movies, I don't have a problem with any of them. Then we're going to move off to The Nun, which is... The 2 Nun movies, I'm not sure why they was even called for, but I get the first Nun movie, but the second one, people just didn't like this one, and I'm not sure why they did a second one. But we have The Nun, not all that great. The Nun 2, again, not all that great. And then we have, this one I liked it. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I actually like this one. It's called The Curse of La Llorona. I dug this one. It ain't going to win an award for greatest horror movie of all time, but I actually enjoyed this one. There's definitely something here to enjoy. So that's the Conjuring universe. That's the 10 movies in the Conjuring universe. Now we're going to take a look, and that franchise is the number 1. That franchise raked in $2.36 billion. That's a multi-billion-dollar franchise, but it's 10 movies. So let that sink in. Now we're going to go to Alien. And I'm going, for the sake of this, I'm not going to do all the movies like Alien, Alien Requiem, Alien versus Predator, a lot of the Predator movies. I'm going to go, for the sake of this, I'm going to go with just the movies that bear the name Alien, and we'll go with Alien Covenant, Alien Romulus, and I'll throw Prometheus in just for the sake. So this franchise raked in $1.65 billion. Considering how old this franchise is, I don't think that's really all that bad, because the original Alien movies, they came out a long time ago. So to have $1.65 billion spread across, I'm going to say 4, 5, 6, 7 movies isn't too bad considering when the franchise started. It isn't really all that bad. So let's dive into the Alien franchise. So we got actually spread over, seven films. So we got the Alien quadrilogy here. This got the first 4 films in it. Out of these 4 films, I'm going with the second movie, Aliens. It's my favorite in the franchise, but I don't really have a beef with any of these. They're all pretty decent in their own right. I like some more than others. Then we're going to go with Prometheus. This one was okay in my opinion. I know a lot of people like this one. A lot of people are lukewarm on this one. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it, but it was okay. It was something to enjoy here. Alien Covenant, I didn't have a problem with this one. And this one was, to me, was a return to form. I really liked this one. I thought this one was really, really good. This is probably my second favorite out of the entire franchise. I liked it that much. And we're going to talk about Alien Romulus. Fantastic alien movie. I mean, this took it back old school, took it back to, you know, the way it should be done. Really good movie. I enjoyed this one, Alien Romulus. Again, that franchise, you're talking 7 films. You're looking at $1.65 billion. And it's probably one out of all of these franchises here, it is the oldest franchise here. The Alien franchise is the oldest out of these 5. Next up, we got It. Now, It is, you know, the numbers that It did, considering how many films it got, is impressive. So you're talking about a franchise that did 1.17 billion. So basically 1.2 billion. And we have the original It. Okay, this one was, in my opinion, now I know a lot of people like the 2, but this one did the whole thing in one movie, and Tim Curry was fantastic as Pennywise, and I just think this one was creepier. Even when I watched this one today, to me, it's creepy. Now, Bill Skarsgård did a great job as Pennywise, but I still like Tim Curry better than Skarsgård. Even though they did it a little bit differently, Skarsgård did a great job, but I got to go with Tim Curry. So, yeah, It, for me, is the best one, the original It. Now we're going to talk about the other 2. So what they did this time around, and I kind of get it, you know, you're going to make a few extra dollars by splitting it. And, you know, I can see where it being split into 2 movies is fine. It didn't take too long to get to the second movie, so I was okay with them splitting. It's not like they did one movie and it took a million years to get the second movie out. So I don't really have a problem being split into 2 movies. So we got It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2. So what they did was, in this movie, this was a miniseries on TV. So, and they basically split it up. They did the same thing, but it was a TV miniseries with this one. So they did, the first half of the movie was them as kids, and then the second half them as adults. They did the same thing here. It's just, it was a theatrical release instead of a TV release. So yeah, same thing. Both, I mean, now these movies are really good. Both of these movies were excellent in my opinion. They wasn't great, but they were excellent enough horror movies. I'm not going to hold you. They was okay. Now, again, for me, my favorite is going to be the original. It just had that creepier edge to me. You know what I'm saying? But then again, I'm going to say this. This one came out when I was a kid. So I was a young kid when this one came out. I was an adult by the time these came out, and I already knew the story. So that could play a part in it too. So maybe if you're a kid and this is your first experience with It, these 2, then you might say these 2 are the best if you didn't see this one. But again, I saw this one as a kid, so by the time these came out, I was an adult already, and I already knew the story. So that could be, I could have a little bias on it that way too. So the next franchise is going to be the Resident Evil series. And I'm not surprised to see Resident Evil here. I don't really hold Resident Evil as a horror franchise in my personal opinion. There are some horror elements to it, but to me this is straight up sci-fi in my opinion. But I get it. Resident Evil is a highly successful video game franchise, and that's where the movies, you know, originated from, the video games. Really big game franchise by Capcom. And the Resident Evil franchise includes 6 films and a host of animated films too, but we're talking about the 6 you know, live action movies here. I like the first one. I liked Extinction is my favorite out of all of them. Resident Evil Extinction, that will be the 3rd film in this franchise. This franchise did 1.2 billion. Not bad. Again, we're talking 6 films, so 1.25 billion. Considering this is based off of a very popular video game franchise, and I'm not super impressed with 1.25 billion for 6 films based off of a very popular IP. So, it is what it is. It's not my list. I wouldn't have put this on the list, but this would have went. I wouldn't even have put this on a top sci-fi list. Don't get me wrong; these movies aren't horrible, but like I said, I have my favorites. And the next franchise spread across 10 movies. Okay, so you got 10 films, and it did $1 billion, 1.1 billion, and I'm impressed with that because the first movie was done by 2 film students I think they shot it with, you know, not very impressive equipment. And the first Saw was a great movie. It went on to be very successful, and it spawned a 10-movie franchise. So I'm going to say the Saw franchise. I like the first one. I like pretty much all of them. I like pretty much all of the Saw movies for the most part. There's only one I didn't like, and that was Spiral. I just couldn't wrap my arms around this one. I just couldn't. But they did come back with Saw X, and this was incredible. I really like this one. It brought Tobin Bell back as what was his name? Jigsaw, but what was his? John. I think his name was John. Forget his last name, but it brought Tobin Bell back as Jigsaw and John, and it was just a really, really good Saw movie. I really liked Saw X. It was a true return to form. So we got the Saw franchise rounding out the top grossing horror franchises. 10 movies, 1.1 billion. Then we got Resident Evil. You got 6 films doing 1.2 billion. Then you got It, which is, to me, very impressive. You got just 3 films, and it's 1.2 billion. Then we got Aliens, which you got a whole bunch of films here. So you got 7 films, and you got 1.65 billion. And then you got 10 movies here now. Keep in mind. And it's counting the entire universe here, not just the 4 Conjuring movies. We have the Conjuring interconnected universe. 10 movies, 2.4 billion. So 2.4 billion for 10 movies. And these are the top 5 highest grossing horror franchises of all times. I know it's not my list. They go on by the numbers. Friday the 13th didn't make it. Let's see. Friday the 13th didn't make the cut. Halloween didn't make the cut. Nightmare on Elm Street didn't make the cut. As far as these franchises are considered horror franchises, again, it's not my list, but these are the top 5 grossing horror franchises. Now, me personally, I'm going to come back with my own list, but they're not going to be top grossers. It's going to be, I'm going to give you guys my top 5 favorite horror franchises of all times. And only one franchise here will probably make my list, and that would be The Conjuring. And it wouldn't be the entire connected universe. It would just be probably the Conjuring movies and the Annabelle movies. The rest of that stuff, to me, is slop garbage. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.